Hey guys, and welcome back to the channel. Today is a very special video. As of February 1st, I have officially been on YouTube for 6 months, so I wanted to do a celebration for you guys. I also asked you guys to ask me some questions for a Q&A, so you guys could get to know me a little bit better. I could interact with you guys a little bit more. I just thought it would be fun, so let's get into those questions. So the first question is from Ashley, and she asked, what is one fictional character you would want to spend a vacation with? And I think I'm going to have to go with Lila Bard from A Darker Shade of Magic because she's just a spitfire and I just think she would be so much fun to go on vacation with. Colleen asked, if you could own a bookstore, would you, and what would it look like? And heck yes, I would own a bookstore. I would love that. Can we make that happen? I'm going to work on it. But yeah, I would definitely own a bookstore. I would have the typical like big comfy like lounge reading areas. I definitely want a tea shop. I can also sell coffee, but primarily tea, because I am a tea person more than a coffee person. And I would also want a whole section for like comic books, because I'm definitely getting into that more, and no bookstore is complete without a comic section, in my opinion. And for overall vibe, I think that it would probably be a little bit kind of like my vibes, a little bit witchy, dark, but like inviting kind of vibe. I think that's what I would do. Colleen also asked, is there a book that you'd love to see have its own makeup inspired line? And I had to really think about this one. I think that I would pick the Lunar Chronicles. I think that that would have some really interesting makeup looks come out of it and just some interesting products, and you could like play with the whole sci-fi element of it, but also the fairy tale element of it. I think that would be a fun combo, just like the books are. Misty, my girl Misty, asked, what is your favorite and least favorite makeup brand? And I don't know if I have an overall favorite makeup brand. Like, I have certain makeup products, like types of products in certain brands that I like. So for example, Tarte eyeshadows are some of my favorite eyeshadows. Stila liquid lipsticks are my favorite liquid lipstick. It's what I'm wearing today. I'm also wearing Tarte eyeshadow today. And I think like mascara wise, I really love CoverGirl. So yeah, I think it's kind of a smattering of favorite brands due to their specific like product types is what I would say. And then for least favorite, I don't even know if I have like an overall least favorite brand, because most of the brands I've tried things in, I've at least liked some things from it. So I don't know if I have a least favorite brand. Misty also asked, what is your go-to or favorite genre? And that is definitely sci-fi and fantasy. That is my bread and butter when it comes to movies, TV shows, and books. So yeah, definitely anything sci-fi or fantasy. I would say I tend to watch more sci-fi but read more fantasy, I think is how I end up doing it. I don't even do that intentionally. That's just how it works out. Christopher asked, how old are you? I'm 26 years old. I will be 27 later this year. Dana asked, what is your color and why? My favorite color since I was a child has always been blue. It's just a very calming color for someone who has anxiety, although I didn't know I had anxiety growing up, but I think it makes a lot of sense now why blue is my favorite color. It's just very calming, and I love all the different shades you can get with it. Purple and blue are my two favorites, but blue primarily. Next question is, what is your ideal way to spend a winter day? And I think I'm going to be a typical book person with this and say curled up in a big comfy chair with a book and a cup of tea, and preferably a pet to cuddle with, which would not be my pet because my pet doesn't cuddle. I got a rescue cat back in November, got him off the streets, and he'll let you come cuddle him for a limited time, but he will not come cuddle you. He will not come curl up with you. He doesn't want to touch you. Like, he's still loving, but he's not a cuddle cat. And if I could add a like roaring fire to go with it, I think that would also be the icing on the cake for a winter day. But I'm thinking like quintessential, typical winter day. I live in Texas. We don't get those kind of winter days. They're like once in a blue moon. I say that as it was like 20 something degrees this morning here, but it's now like 50 something, so we didn't keep that very long. Next question is, what do you like to eat when reading? And just snacks in general. I think popcorn's a big go-to for me because you can just eat a lot of it in one sitting and it's not like the worst for you, you know? Instead of eating like the same amount of chocolate, which would be kind of bad, but delicious. I think popcorn. Although popcorn mixed with chocolate, yes. Amy asked, how do you get ARCs from publishers and or authors? So I've actually never received, I guess, technically an ARC, maybe I have. I have had self-published authors contact me before when I was running my blog more frequently, and I did read a couple of those books and review them. You can check them out over there. I'll link them if I find them. But when it comes to getting ARCs from publishers, I am not the best person to answer that. I know that you can contact publishers directly and ask. I know that sometimes, depending on how big your platform is, they might reach out to you. I'm just not 100% the person to ask about that, but I would say it definitely doesn't hurt to ask publishers if you can, maybe. Correct me if I'm wrong, other book people who get ARCs. Maybe that's the best place to go. Go in the comments. If you have gotten ARCs from publishers or authors, please comment down below the best way you have found to do that and help Amy out. Amy also asked, have you ever been to BEA or any other book festival or convention? I have not, but I think it would be really fun. The only convention I've been to is Comic-Con, and that was Dallas Comic-Con, not even the San Diego Comic-Con. So I don't know, a book convention, they tend to be in different cities from where I live. And so that's just a really big expense travel cost for something like that. Whereas, I don't know, for me personally, I think I'd rather spend my money going on vacation with my husband, personally, because I don't have oodles of money. But I would love to go to a book convention one day, especially if there was one nearby, 100%. Amanda asked, what book could you reread over and over again? And that is easy. It is Arena by Karen Hancock. It is a allegory sci-fi, which is such a weird category, but it's great. It is a book that I read probably once a year. It's kind of like my comfort book. So whenever I am going through a rough patch or a rough part of the year or something like that, it's kind of my go-to reground myself kind of book. Yeah, I've read that probably 10 times at this point. Kristen asked, what are your readathon rituals and habits? So at this point, I've actually only done 2 readathons. I do have vlogs for both of them here on the channel, but I'm still trying to establish my habits and rituals. But I would say a big one is to really chart out my goals for that readathon, especially if there's challenges within it. So, you know, mark out what books I want to read. Sometimes if I'm going to be really type A person and really plot out my readathon, I will figure out how many pages I need to read of each book to accomplish what I want to accomplish within that time frame, whether it's a week or a month or however long the readathon is. Also, tea. Tea is a necessity, all kinds of tea. Green tea, black tea, calming tea, mint tea, herbal tea, all the tea. And also just being comfy, and also taking page reading time wherever you have it. I'm a big reader at work, on my lunch break. I don't just read while I sit at work. I don't have that kind of job, unfortunately. But I do take an hour-long lunch break during the day, and I read during that, or just, you know, trying to find those smaller moments that you might not tend to look for when you're not doing a readathon. Okay, the next one is from Kristen also, and she said, who are your favorite fellow booktubers? And I went through all my subscriptions and pulled out my faves. So are you ready for a long list? Because it's long. I do watch more booktubers than these ones, but these are the ones I've been really into lately. So just because I don't mention a booktube channel that I might follow doesn't mean I don't like them. It's just, this is just who I've been watching lately. So no offense to anyone at all. So the first one is Beautifully Bookish Bethany. She has a channel that is very similar subject to mine, where it's books and beauty related content, and she is just so supportive and so sweet, and I highly recommend checking her out if you are interested. She's great. Next one is Books in 5. This is a fantastic channel that is way too small in my opinion. Julie has such a cool concept for her channel where she reviews books in under 5 minutes, but she also includes hand-drawn illustrations of what she's talking about with the book, which I just think is such a cool concept, and she's really talented and very sweet. Highly recommend checking her out. Obviously, I highly recommend all these people. Next up is Books in Lala. She is a classic. I think she's one of the bigger booktubers on this platform, and she's great. Highly recommend. I watch all of her videos. Books with Emily Fox is also great. So she started out doing a makeup related channel, and then she started a second channel that's focused on books, and she just has really good insight. She reads a lot of heavy sci-fi books, which is really interesting to hear her talk about, and she just has really good quality content, especially production value, because she already had a well-established channel, and then she started her book channel, so it's on point. Emma Books is also another OG here on YouTube, and I like all of her videos as well. Jessie's Library is someone that I connected with on Instagram. We both started Instagram, Bookstagram kind of accounts around the same time, and so we just really connected and grew together with that, and then she started a YouTube channel, I think before I did. I think so. And she's great. She's also a professional photographer, and she has beautiful photos. My dream is to go visit her one day and to talk books and to take beautiful pictures. Read or Read, I'm not sure how she means it, by Zoe is great. She does really fun, like 24-hour vlog readathon things that are just highly entertaining. Her one, reading it in 24 hours, was just stressful to watch, but in the best way, because I read that book over like 2.5 months. I'm like, how did you do this in 24 hours? Another great one is Riley Marie. She is just a very sweet person, and she's great on camera. I love her chats about books. I love her aesthetic. Also great. Roya Eve Reads, I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing that, but she is great. She has really laid back video content. She recently put out a second video in her kind of unhaul series of her Goodreads list, which I really love watching that kind of stuff. So she's great, laid back, down to earth, has great book reviews. Todd the Librarian is someone on here who I think is also way too small because he is hilarious. Go watch Todd. Todd is like the funniest person ever, and he's just so unique here on BookTube that is full of like people who are kind of similar to me, you know, young female kind of people. And so having him review books so differently and to do his tags are hilarious. They're my favorite. Yeah, go check out Todd. You will not regret it. That's all the ones I have to recommend right now. Maybe I'll do a whole nother video about BookTube recommendations. Let me know if you'd be interested in that. Speaking of Jessie's library, she asked, could you do a makeup tutorial pretty please? I do have a couple of YouTube makeup tutorials on this channel, and that was around Halloween. I have 2 up. I have 2 other Halloween tutorials that I filmed and never got to edit and post during October, but I kind of want to post them soon, even though it's not Halloween. How do we feel about that? I might do that. But besides those, I do want to do more makeup tutorials. My hesitation with makeup tutorials is that I don't have like a professional camera. I film everything on my phone. I have like box studio lighting. It's really hard for me to get like a good zoom in kind of thing. It's just hard for me to frame it up. I'm working on it. I just feel like if I put out a tutorial, like kind of like the ones I did for Halloween, I just feel like it's not up to snuff. But maybe I'm overthinking it. Let me know what you think. Anna asked, what made you addicted to books? And I would say I've always been a book reader from being a small child. I was the kid that totally got in trouble for reading under the covers with a flashlight at night. Just that typical kind of kid. And I have always loved making up stories in my head. I much prefer the stories that my brain creates or the visuals that my brain creates. And while I am like a huge movie and TV show person, books are my first love. I think that you get such an enriched story with books, and yeah, it's just great. It's a great way to like go into your own world for a little while, or technically someone else's world, and dive into it. And I just find it so fun and so unique and just a great experience. Anna also asked, who's your favorite author? I would say currently V.E. Schwab. I've only read 3 of her books, and they are all the Darker Shade of Magic series, but I am in love with her writing, and I need to read more of her books ASAP. Bethany asked, what beauty product do you wish you could splurge on? So this is the stupidest beauty product I think I've ever wanted, because it's just such a basic thing that I want the expensive one of, because I can't find a good drugstore one. And that is like a translucent setting powder. Every translucent setting powder I use, there's something glaringly wrong with it, and I haven't found one I liked. Although I did find one I liked, but it's just so expensive for translucent setting powder, guys. I don't know how to justify it. But I get the Sephora play boxes, or I did. I recently unsubscribed, but I will be resubscribing in the near future. I got a sample of the translucent setting powder, the Laura Mercier translucent setting powder, in a Sephora play box, and I fell in love with it. It's perfect. I need it. But it's like $38, I think, for setting powder. I don't know. That's what I want to splurge on, and it's the dumbest thing. Matt asked, what drives you to reach your goals? And I would say the biggest thing is to create the life that I want to live, to create just what I ideally want to be doing, where I want to go. I constantly have this like future idea in my head of where I want to be, whether it's a specific or a general kind of goal. I want to get there, and so I kind of figure out how I need to get there with baby steps and things like that, and I'm constantly reevaluating my goals to reach that, and I'm also reevaluating like my final destination ideal thing to edit my goals. Matt also asked, what are some dreams for yourself in the next 5 years? So a huge goal of mine is to live in Seattle one day. I've always had this dream of living there. I finally got to visit back in October. There's going to be a vlog for that coming soon-ish. follow my Twitter if you want to see that go up, because it won't be going up on this channel. But Seattle is a big one, and I also really want to work a job that I absolutely love and that doesn't feel like work. And I don't currently have that, which is why I do YouTube as my passion project, because I really don't love my job. And the last question is from Amber, and she asked, what is the best way to get rid of red, blotchy skin? And Amber, if you figure it out, let me know, because I don't know. I have heard some tips and tricks around the internet, but I haven't really found anything that works really well for me. I'm very pale. I get red really easily. I'm also acne prone, so that's a lot of redness going on. One thing that doesn't necessarily help get rid of it, but helps cover it, is green concealer. I'm actually a fan, mine is dirty, but I'm a fan of the e.l.f. HD Lifting Concealer in the green color. It's really cheap. I think it's like $3. And it works really well. You only need a little bit. It doesn't 100% cover it, but it does help tone down the like intense redness before you like put on foundation or concealer on top. I've heard that using a toner on a regular basis can also help, and I've also heard there's this cream from Clinique that's like specifically targeted for clearing blotchy skin and to tone down the redness, and I've heard people who have rosacea really like it, so you might want to look into that. I don't have personal experience with it, that's just what I've heard. And that wraps up my Q&A. Again, thank you so much for subscribing, for talking to me, for sharing your passions with me, whether they are book, beauty, or otherwise related. This has been the best 6 months doing something I love. And while I did love blogging for the time that I did it, I really wanted to move into a different medium. And YouTube has been a great space for that. And I'm excited to see what the next 6 months brings. If you want to see specific content on this channel, certain types of videos, please leave them down in the comments. Let me know. I do take your suggestions into consideration. And if you like this video, give it a thumbs up, and maybe I'll do more Q&As in the future. We'll see. I think they're fun. And if you want to see more videos from me, you can subscribe, and you'll get all of them in your nice little sub box, and you can hit the bell if you want to be notified of when I post. And as always, guys, I will see you in my next video. Bye.